Alright fellas, here we're back in Pokemon Masters, and today we're going to be looking at the new Lenora and Watchog Spotlight Scout and going over this sync pair and their abilities. I really didn't set this up right. Alright, it's fine. So, this sync pair is a very interesting sync pair, honestly. She's obviously a new Spotlight sync pair, which is very, very nice. Glad we finally got another pretty prominent character in the series, another gym leader, right? We're missing still quite a few, you still got like Byron, Drayden, the first gym leaders of Unova, that trio, a couple others, right? Chuck, he's an NPC hell, so that's neat. But whatever, we finally got Lenora here, so one more addition of the gym leaders, and we're one step closer to being done. So this sync pair is pretty interesting, honestly. Obviously, I know I'm not doing summon or skips or anything like that, but probably wouldn't summon. She's a spotlight character, duh. Anyway, whatever. So let's go over and look at her kit here. She is a support normal type sync pair with the EX roll of a tech character, which is just not worth it. Just don't do it. Obviously weak to fighting. She drops on the 16th and lasts until November 1st. So if you do for some reason want to go for her, then you've got about 2 weeks. I think a little bit over 2 weeks, because I'm pretty sure October has 31 days. Yeah, a little over 2 weeks, very slightly over. So there you go. Looking at her stats, she's got 632 HP, 288 in both defenses, 244 in speed, 220 in the attack, and that's pretty much the only relevant stats. HP is a tiny bit low, I would say, for a support character. Her defense stats are fine, and her speed stats are alright, I guess. It's not really that great, but still, I'd say these are fine stats overall, especially considering everything else you can give her to raise her stats. Most prominently the EX, of course, giving the extra HP, and stats here does definitely help a lot. So that's nice. But let's look at her abilities. I honestly think this is a character that can be very, very useful in a stadium scenario as well as a legendary gauntlet, being a spotlight character. I think this is honestly pretty good. So looking at her ability, she's got X special defense, all raising ally special defense. Obviously this is mostly going to be useful in like a gauntlet scenario where you want the defenses raised to be able to take more attacks, as well as of course provide stuff to characters who have Wise Cookie, I think is what it's called. Smart Cookie, maybe. I think it's Smart Cookie. Yeah, Smart Cookie. So, if you do got those type of abilities, then she's going to be useful for those. But there's other things you're going to want her for instead. She has Facade, mostly as a 2-gauge spammable move, but if she does happen to get, a status condition put on her, then you can make abuse of that. In order to do some extra damage with Facade, it'll be about 100 base power with the, the double damage. And stuff from that, but it's not going to do too much damage. But maybe if you're running her with like Palmer or someone with normal zone, and if the enemy has debuffed defenses, she can maybe do some very, very small chip damage or something, right? So it's not too bad. And her trainer move here, which restores the HP of all allies by 20% of their maximum, and charges the gauge by 2 for each ally on the field, so mostly 6. And it'll charge it by 2 for all allies in co-op, so that's neat, right? Very, very nice ability here. It's essentially a mini potion all, but you also are charging gauge, so that's nice enough, right? It's not a great trainer move, but it's good enough. And probably one of the better abilities of her kit is that she's got Leer as a support character, meaning she can debuff defense, very similar in vein to characters like Bugsy and Scyther, who I still am upset have not rerun. So that's very, very good. But not only is this Leer good for debuffing enemy defense, it's also able to debuff enemy special defense with this ability here, so not only are you getting AoE defense debuffs, you're also getting AoE special defense debuffs. Lucian is very prominent for having this ability as well as attack debuffing, but now Lenora also has it as well, on top of being a support character, meaning you don't have to just provide a space for her just for the debuffing, right? You can just slot her in as your support in some scenarios and it can work well. Again, if we also factor in characters who have abilities like Smart Cookie, then you're going to have some special attackers that can do some very good damage on top of, the defense and special defense debuffs. Like if you want to look here, you've got characters like Lodge N. They can benefit, especially because he's also got the same theme skill. Nice, right? Obviously Lodge Sycamore. Olympia, these type of characters that can benefit from the special defense buffs that she's able to provide, as well as the special defense drops she's able to provide, which is very, very nice. And of course helping out physical attackers as well with the defense drops. Like, Bruno, who has Smart Cookie as well, but he also is a physical attacker, so the Leer is going to be beneficial for him. She's also got debut field special damage reduction, applies special damage reduction the first time she enters battle, and team pinpoint entry, raising all allies' accuracy by 2 when she enters a battle. Pretty basic stuff here, honestly. Not really anything crazy, just she doesn't buff crit or offenses or speed or anything like that, but she does provide healing for the gauntlet, special defense buffs for, the gauntlet, again, and also providing it for characters who want to use this as a multiplier type based ability. Also got Leer for the defense and special defense drops, mostly going to be useful in a gauntlet scenario. Also, or not gauntlet, stadium scenario, but also very good for the gauntlet, especially against Registeel. I do wish she would have released a little bit earlier because she is pretty much almost built for Registeel realistically, because I'm pretty sure a lot of Registeel's attacks, I don't think any of them are fighting, so she's not weak to it. She's got special defense abilities here for whenever Registeel uses moves. I think, can it learn Flash Cannon? I think it uses Flash Cannon. I could be wrong. But also, Thunderbolt and Hyper Beam and whatnot. You got special defense buffs here. Heals for your allies. You've also, whenever it lands a lucky paralysis with Body Slam or Thunderbolt, you've got the ability with Facade here in order to do some extra damage back to it. So I really feel Lenora would have been a lot better to drop sooner. But whatever, right? Can't do too much about that. So yeah, anyway, overall not a bad starting kit here. I'd say that for the stadium, you're mostly going to be using the Leers as well as her trainer move, because you can probably work with her doing the half HP parameter stuff, getting some heals in with this, as well as, of course, a little bit of gauge assistance, and then start using Leer to get some special defense and defense drops, depending on who you're, running her with, right? And again, having the special damage reduction is nice. Accuracy buffs are a little bit niche, but they are still good, obviously. Again, facing Latias, she'll be good against that because you can buff accuracy to hit Latias when it has its evasion buffs, and you've also got yourself the Leer to debuff both of its defenses, which are going to be very, very good for, activating or deactivating its fluid fortification. So a lot of good scenarios she can be used in a legendary arena, and definitely some solid enough scenarios for the stadium, mostly from the defenses debuffing. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at her grid here and get a better idea of what she can do with it. Okay, so 1 out of 5, she is pretty much nothing, just Stalwart. 2 out of 5, she gets Sync Regen, Facade Fleet Feet, Survivor Mentality, Move Gauge Refresh, Move Point Refresh. Not too bad, obviously, but nothing insane. Restoring status changes is nice. Applying gradual healing to herself on the Sync move, Support EX and whatnot. That's nice as well. Fleet Feet's okay. I wouldn't say it's an amazing ability, but you can do a little bit of gauge management, I guess, giving her speed buffs. Though you're mostly going to be using a Leer and her trainer moves, so honestly I can't find time to use Facade. But whatever, it's an option. Trainer move NPR is definitely good for the healing and gauge. Special defense NPR is good for, maxing out your special defense buffs, and survivor mentality is decent enough, especially if you have special defense buffs, to where if you get below that 33, or is it 30%, whatever, that HP range, you can be able to survive a little bit longer, right? 20% damage reduction plus your special defense buffs. Going to be pretty nice for healing. So there's that. But obviously the big stuff is going to be at 3 out of 5, where she gets Rejuvenate 6 for some gauge restoration, Safety Tether to apply endurance to herself, hit team attack up, restoring or raising allies' attack when her attack move is successful, so she can do a little bit of offensive buffing as well. She's also got hit team special attack up 9 for the same thing. She can now buff both offenses. And she's also got Team Sharp Entry 1 for a little bit of critical hit rate buffing, right? So you only have to rely on getting yourself the +2 crit because Lenora can do the rest for you. That's not too bad. Facade Staggering 2, definitely very, very nice for a legendary gauntlet. Obviously, a lot of these abilities are going to be centered towards both. I think she's definitely very, very good in that aspect. She can work in both areas. Trainer Move Master Healer, which is very nice, and Trainer Move Group Therapy, restoring status conditions, can be very nice. When facing Tornadus with its Toxic, Cresselia with its Toxic, and I think it can also do Paralysis. So you can definitely heal up from that, which is very, very nice. So overall, a lot of good abilities that she can do here. So let's say you want to run her with a physical attacker. You would obviously want to pick up this ability. Maybe you want to pick up the crit buffs or something, whatever, right? And then it would just depend on what you want to do. If you want to use staggering for some lucky flinches, you can do that. If you want to pick up safety tether in order to get some, endurance and support EX and everything like that, you can go ahead and pick that up. Whatever you feel like doing, right? I think that this character is quite diverse in the abilities that she can do. Obviously, her attack buffs and special attack buffs and crit buffs are slow. Obviously, the crit buff is only by 1 as well, so you do need your other allies to be able to help out in that aspect, but hey, that's fine. This is mostly going to be useful for a gauntlet, and where she's useful in the stadium, of course, is that she's got Team Sharp Entry for the crit buffs, as well as the staggering, as well as the just general defense debuffing here with the Leers. I think that's her most useful areas in the stadium, and the Sync Regen and Safety Tether can be nice as well for her own healing, but again, Also, in the Legendary Gauntlet, she does have the offensive buffing, which again is slow, but it's a slower type of battle, so it doesn't really matter too much. And the staggering is also going to be universally good just anywhere. Rejuvenate 6 for gauge management, group therapy, master healer for recovery, NPR on next special defense, all whatever else, right? So this character's definitely got a lot of good abilities, and I think she's a very, very nice addition to the Spotlight Sync Pair Scout. Just the general pool in, well, general. So yeah, honestly, I'm very, I do like this character. I do like this character a lot. The defense debuffing as well as special defense debuffing is so nice, honestly. I like Colress for his defense, AoE defense debuffing, as well as like Lucian for his AoE special defense debuffing, and you get the best of both worlds, right? Obviously, it's not like double drop, so it's not extremely fast defensive debuffing, but it is enough to make a noticeable difference as long as you consider spamming it, right? And being a support character, she can definitely take hits a lot better, especially if you're in a scenario where like you want to have defensive debuffing, but you don't want to rely on as like a tech character to do that. Like if I wanted to run a setup with a support, a damage dealer, and then someone like Colress, I may want to remove Colress for someone who can set Sun or just help out in other areas, right? So I can then replace my support with someone like Lenora here who can already apply these defensive debuffing. And if I do need a support that can buff my attack or my crit or whatever, I can definitely use her in some of those scenarios and she'll work just fine. So I think she's definitely very, very nice in a lot of those areas. And again, very, very good in the Gauntlet as well for a lot of her defensive abilities, as well as healing and just staggering and stuff like that. Definitely a very, very good character, honestly. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on Lenora. As a Spotlight character, I think she's very, very nice. I don't think she's going to be like the best Spotlight sync pair in the Scout or anything, but I definitely do think that her defenses, her abilities with Leer are probably among some of the best abilities that she can do. And then, of course, having all of her other abilities be super useful for a Legendary Gauntlet or topping off your offensive character's abilities with the abilities here can be very, very nice, right? And even at 1 out of 5, just having the Leer, heals, special defense all, that type of stuff is already pretty good in my opinion. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Lenora. Let me know what you think about her down in the comments below. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for her. Again, I don't really recommend it because she is a Spotlight character, but of course go for whoever you want. I don't think she's super valuable compared to everyone else in the month. I would say that she is good, mostly in a Spotlight scenario, and I think she's good overall, but I wouldn't put her value as like an overall sync pair above characters like Roxanne, like Fall Roxanne, or Akari or Ray. Probably not even Thornton or Nolan, really. Or obviously these other reruns, but that's obviously up to you and how you want to do it. I'm just giving you a good idea of what Lenora can do, some scenarios she can work well in, and etc., right? So yeah, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below, and I will see you all later.